Engkaulah sebenar-benarnya tempat kami meletakkan harapan dan memohon pertolongan. Ya Allah, apalah kiranya dengan kemurahan-Mu Engkau anugerahkan kepada kami sebaik-baik ilham dan fikiran, dan berikanlah kami sebaik-baik pimpinan untuk menjalankan tugas dan kewajipan kami. Mudahkan kepada kami segala kerumitan dalam menyelesaikan persoalan-persoalan yang diperbahaskan di dalam sidangan kami ini, dan sampaikanlah kami kepada kata sepakat dan tujuan-tujuan yang muktamad demi untuk kepentingan dan kebaikan negara. Seterusnya, kepada Engkaulah juga kami harapkan agar segala usaha dan cita-cita kerajaan dalam rancangan-rancangan pembangunannya akan berhasil dan berjaya untuk membawa kemakmuran, keadilan dan kebahagiaan kepada rakyat seluruhnya. Amin.
Pemasyuran daripada Tuan Speaker.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera. Hadirin yang berhormat dan sidang Dewan yang dihormati sekalian. Bagi pihak Dewan yang mulia ini, saya ingin mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi takniah kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak dan ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri bagi N26 Gedung yang telah dianugerahkan Distinguished Honorary Fellow of ASEAN Federation of Engineering Organizations pada semalam 22 November 2023 di Bali, Indonesia. Tahniah dan syabas.
Pertanyaan-pertanyaan bagi jawapan-jawapan lisan.
Yang berhormat Datuk Hamzah bin Haji Ibrahim Setakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Berhormatan si Speaker, soalan saya bernombor 111.
Terima kasih Tuan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker, dan terima kasih ahli yang berhormat bagi setakan. Untuk makluman ahli yang berhormat bagi setakan, kerajaan sedang melaksanakan kajian Pelan Induk Samarahan 2020 sehingga 2030 bertujuan untuk merangka strategi pembangunan sosio-ekonomi yang komprehensif. Ia selaras dengan PCDS 2030 untuk membangunkan sosio-ekonomi di bahagian Samarahan yang berteraskan 3 tunjang utama, iaitu kemakmuran ekonomi, keterangkaman sosial dan kelestarian alam sekitar. Perancangan pembangunan di kawasan setakan juga termasuk. Dalam kajian ini ialah peringkat draft laporan akhir dan dijangka siap pada suku pertama 2024. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Timbalan Menteri. Berhormat Tuan Speaker, saya mohon satu soalan tambahan. Apakah dapatan utama dalam kajian Pelan Induk Samarahan 2030 yang berkaitan dengan setakan? Terima kasih.
Terima kasih lagi Tuan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker, dan terima kasih yang berhormat bagi setakan. Penemuan ataupun pendapatan yang telah dikenal pasti di dalam kajian samarahan 2020 dan 2030 ialah pertama, DUN setakat akan mengekalkan peranan utamanya sebagai pusat kediaman dengan komuniti tempatan disokong oleh 4 sektor utama iaitu perniagaan wujud, komersial, perindustrian dan perkhidmatan. Kedua, kawasan pembangunan baru perlu dikenal pasti bagi membolehkan pembangunan yang terancang dan seimbang. Ketiga, DUN setakat yang terletak di tempat yang strategik di antara Bandaraya Kuching dan Kota Semerahan yang pesat membangun akan mendapat limpahan pembangunan terutama dalam sektor perbuatan dan komersial. Keempat, DUN setakat yang mana yang berhormat ahli bagi setakat juga merupakan ahli lembaga ISDA iaitu Integrated Regional Semerahan Development Agency dan penubuhan GKCDA Greater Kuching Coordinated Development Agency juga akan mampu untuk merancangkan lagi DUN setakat dengan pembangunan yang menyeluruh. Untuk makluman ahli yang berhormat bagi setakat juga, laluan ALT jajaran serian ke Bandaraya Kuching iaitu Line 1 and Package 1 merintasi pusat utama pengajian tinggi di Sarawak iaitu UiTM, Unimas dan Maktab Perguruan Tun Razak sekaligus akan memberi perkhidmatan yang terbaik untuk DUN setakat. Terima kasih.
Yang Berhormat Datuk Ding Kong Hing, Meradong. Tan Sri Speaker, my question is 112.
Thank you, Datuk Sri Tan Sri Datuk Amar Speaker. Thank you for ahli yang berhormat for Meradong. For the information of ahli yang berhormat for Meradong, the frequent water disruption occurred are mostly due to pipe damage by the third party during the road construction of the Pen Borneo Highway in the affected area. However, the water supply for Meradong district will be improved with the current implementation of the water supply project under Central Region 1, Work Order 6 or CR1 WO6 package. That is the proposed supply, delivery and laying of 600 mm nominal internal diameter pipeline from Bulat Junction to Tamadak Reservoir, including all the associated work. This Central Region 1 Work Order 6 project is part of the statewide Sarawak Water Supply Grid Program for stress area, which is fully funded by our Sarawak government. Thank you.
Tan Sri Speaker, I have two supplementary questions I would like to ask the Deputy Minister. Number one, what is the scope of work and progress of the project, which is proposed supply, delivery and laying of 600 mm nominal internal diameter pipeline from Bulat Junction to Tamadak Reservoir? And number two, what is the cost of the project and when will it be completed? Thank you.
Thank you, Tan Sri Datuk Amar Speaker. Thank you for the ahli hormat for Meradong. To answer question number one, the scope of work for this project under package Central Region 1, Work Order 6 project, that is the proposed supply, delivery and laying of 600 mm nominal internal diameter pipeline from Bulat Junction to Tamadak Reservoir, include the following: laying works for 20 km of 600 mm mild steel cement line or MSCL pipes, inclusive of all valves, crossings, pipe fittings and appurtenances. Reinstatement and other associated works for Bulat Junction to Tamadak Reservoir. This project is now at 40.8% completion. To answer question number 2, the cost for this project is 21.6 million ringgit, and it is expected to be completed by second quarter of 2024. Thank you.
Yang Berhormat Tuan Haji Rusali Gapur, Beting Maru.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Datuk Speaker. Soalan saya 113.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker, dan terima kasih Ahli yang berhormat bagi Beting Maru. Untuk makluman Ahli yang berhormat bagi Beting Maru, sejak tahun 2022 kerajaan telah melaksanakan dasar baharu di mana setiap tanah yang diberi milik kepada Pesuruhjaya Tanah Persekutuan FLC akan dikenakan syarat khas pembangunan yang perlu dilaksanakan dan disiapkan dalam tempoh 5 tahun dari tarikh surat hak milik dikeluarkan. Sekiranya pembangunan tersebut gagal disiapkan dalam tempoh yang ditetapkan, tanah berkenaan hendaklah diserah balik kepada Kerajaan Sarawak selaras dengan Perjanjian Malaysia tahun 1963 MA63. Bangunan tapak lama SK Bladin yang terletak di Lot 11 Blok 15 Sablo Land District telah dirubuhkan dan terdapat kemudahan awam dibina di dalam lot tersebut seperti padang, trek larian, surau, tandas awam dan grandstand pentas berbumbung. Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Sarawak JPNS kini sedang menyelaras proses penyerahan semula tapak tersebut kepada Kerajaan Sarawak bersama-sama dengan Jabatan Ketua Pengarah Tanah dan Galian JKPTG memandangkan tiada perancangan pembangunan institusi pendidikan di tapak pada masa hadapan. Manakala bagi tapak SK Pusat, ianya terdiri daripada 3 lot yang telah diberi milik kepada Pesuruhjaya Tanah Persekutuan FLC, bangunan utama kompleks sekolah SK Pusat, Betung, di mana di atas lot 692, Blok 6, Sablo Land District, iaitu lot tambahan kepada tapak sekolah asal di atas lot 5 dan 6, Pusat Town District. Lot 5 Pusat Town District pula terdapat bangunan asrama, pelajar dan juga kuartus guru, manakala lot 6 Pusat Town District terdapat bangunan prasekolah dan bangunan lama sekolah. Memandangkan kesemua lot tersebut masih digunakan, maka FLC tiada perancangan untuk menyerahkan kesemua lot tersebut kepada Kerajaan Sarawak. Tapak sedia ada SK Kalok yang terletak di lot 170, 224, 520, Blok 6 Sablo Land District dan lot 224 Pusat Town District kini masih lagi digunakan sehingga pembangunan di tapak sekolah baharu di lot 1010 Blok 6 Sablo Land District siap dilaksanakan, kecuali satu bilik darjah prasekolah di dalam lot 224 Pusat Town District akan terus beroperasi di tapak lama. Tapak lama SK Kalok tersebut adalah merupakan tanah kerajaan, iaitu pihak sekolah telah diarahkan untuk mengosongkan tapak sekolah setelah SK Kalok beroperasi sepenuhnya di tapak baru kelak. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Timbalan Menteri di atas jawapan. Saya ada 2 soalan. Soalan pertama, pada masa ini Kerajaan Sarawak dan Kerajaan Persekutuan sedang memutamatkan penyerahan balik tanah milik FSC yang tidak dibangunkan. Berapakah jumlah lot yang belum dibangunkan untuk kegunaan sekolah untuk diserah balik kepada Kerajaan Sarawak? Soalan kedua, Bagi sekolah yang menduduki tanah milik pihak berkuasa tempatan PBT, adakah hak milik tanah tersebut akan kekal sebagai milik PBT ataupun akan diserah pindah milik kepada FSC?
Terima kasih sekali lagi Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker, dan terima kasih pada yang berhormat ahli yang berhormat bagi Betul Maru. Untuk makluman ahli yang berhormat, berdasarkan rekod pemilikan tanah FLC pada tahun 2019 dan semakan pembangunan tanah oleh Jabatan Tanah dan Sabir, bilangan tanah untuk kegunaan sekolah yang tidak dibangunkan adalah sebanyak 38 lot berkeluasan 174 hektar. Dan bagi menjawab soalan kedua, Kerajaan Sarawak telah menetapkan bahawa mana-mana sekolah yang didirikan di atas tanah milik pihak berkuasa tempatan PBT akan diberi hak milik kepada FLC melalui proses pemutihan dan pengambilan balik tanah selaras dengan peruntukan di bawah bahagian 4 Kanun Tanah Sarawak. Terima kasih.
Yang berhormat Tuan Haji Muhammad bin Duri Kelakar.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker. Soalan saya nombor 114. Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker, untuk makluman ahli yang berhormat bagi Kelakar, Kerajaan Sarawak menyedari akan penglibatan ramai para petani dalam industri sagu dan nipah, terutamanya di kawasan pesisiran pantai negeri Sarawak, serta akan potensi industri ini sebagai antara penyumbang kepada pendapatan Sarawak dalam sektor pertanian. Oleh sebab itu, Lembaga Pembangunan Sagu dan Nipah SNDB telah ditubuhkan pada 1 September tahun 2022 bertujuan untuk membangunkan industri ini dengan lebih berkesan dan menyeluruh, dan akan mula beroperasi setelah urusan pelantikan pegawai dimuktamadkan. SNDB akan membuat kajian secara terperinci bagi mengenal pasti dan membangunkan kawasan yang berpotensi untuk tanaman rumbia di Sarawak, termasuk di kawasan Dun Kelakar, bertujuan untuk menambah kawasan tanaman rumbia yang sedia ada. Dalam pada itu, kementerian saya melalui Jabatan Pertanian Sarawak telah ada menyediakan bantuan kepada petani yang terlibat dalam industri ini. Bagi kawasan Dun Kelakar, Jabatan Pertanian Sarawak sedang melaksanakan program tanam baru rumbia secara berkelompok yang melibatkan 15 orang peserta dengan keluasan 43.6 hektar. Projek ini bernilai ringgit Malaysia 520,000, telah mula dilaksanakan pada awal 2022 dan dijangka siap pada penghujung tahun ini 2023. Terima kasih. Terima kasih Datuk Ahmad Speaker. Saya ada 2 soalan tambahan. Yang pertama, apakah jenis dan syarat-syarat permohonan skim bantuan rumbia yang dilaksanakan di Sarawak? Soalan kedua, selepas Lembaga Pembangunan Sagu dan Nipah SNDB ditubuhkan, apakah peranan Crown Research Sendirian Berhad? Terima kasih.
Terima kasih kepada ahli yang berhormat bagi Kelakar atas 2 soalan tambahan tersebut. Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker, untuk makluman ahli yang berhormat bagi Kelakar, jenis skim bantuan rumbia adalah yang pertama program tanam baru rumbia, yang kedua program pemulihan rumbia, ketiga program pembangunan infrastruktur ladang rumbia, dan yang keempat program peningkatan produktiviti rumbia.
Syarat-syarat permohonan pula adalah: pertama, pemohon hendaklah warga negara Malaysia yang bermustatin di Sarawak. Kedua, berumur 18 tahun dan ke atas semasa memohon. Dan yang ketiga, mempunyai tanah dengan pemilikan yang sah. Permohonan skim bantuan rumbia ini adalah terbuka kepada semua pekebun kecil rumbia di Sarawak, sama ada pengusaha tanaman rumbia yang sedia ada maupun yang baharu, dan hendaklah dikemukakan kepada Jabatan Pertanian Sarawak untuk kelulusan di bawah Rancangan Malaysia yang ke-12. Untuk menjawab soalan tambahan yang kedua, dengan penubuhan Lembaga Pembangunan Sagu dan Nipah SNDB, Crown Research Sendirian Berhad akan menjadi sebuah entiti komersial yang dimiliki sepenuhnya oleh SNDB. Aktiviti komersial utama Crown Research Sendirian Berhad ini adalah untuk melaksanakan projek-projek pembangunan sagu dan nipah serta penghilangan dan pemasaran produk-produk sagu dan nipah. Di samping itu, Crown Research Sendirian Berhad akan meneruskan aktiviti penyelidikan dan pembangunan industri sagu dan nipah. Terima kasih.
Yang berhormat Encik Jonikal Rayong Engkelele.
Dato' Amar Speaker, soalan saya nombor 115.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, dan terima kasih ahli yang berhormat bagi Engkelili. Pembangunan jalan Pen Borneo di Sarawak yang sepanjang 786 km dari Teluk Melanu ke Miri, ada terdapat 3 buah RSA ataupun Rest Service Area yang dibangunkan, iaitu yang pertama di Jelukong di kawasan Engkelili, dan yang kedua di Sungai Arif Balingian, dan yang ketiga di kawasan Lambe Miri. Manakala untuk kawasan pembangunan projek RSA di Jelukong Sri Aman, kerja-kerja utama projek kemudahan R&R, rehat dan rawat di Jelukong telah siap pada 31 hari bulan Oktober tahun ini, iaitu CPC telah Certificate of Practical Completion telah dikeluarkan pada 31 Oktober 2023, manakala kerja-kerja pengujian dan pentauliahan bagi sistem utility sedang di peringkat akhir oleh agensi utility masing-masing. Sekian, terima kasih.
Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, saya ada 2 soalan tambahan. Terima kasih yang berhormat Datuk Timbalan Menteri. Satu soalan adalah, bilakah kawasan rehat dan rawat atau R&R Jelukong dijangka akan beroperasi? Kedua, apakah jenis kemudahan yang akan disediakan di kawasan rehat dan rawat Jelukong nanti? Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, dan terima kasih ahli yang berhormat bagi Engkelili dengan 2 soalan tambahan tadi. Yang pertama, buat masa ini pemilihan pemilik gerai dan tapak jualan sedang giat dijalankan secara berperingkat, dan R&R di Jelukong ini akan dijangka beroperasi pada suku pertama tahun 2024. Manakala untuk soalan yang kedua, di antara kemudahan yang akan disediakan di kawasan R&R Jelukong ialah, yang pertama, kawasan parking kenderaan, yang kedua tandas awam, dan yang ketiga medan selera, dan yang keempat surau. Sekian, terima kasih.
Yang Berhormat Insinyur Kestafagira Tamin.
Thank you, Tan Sri Utama Speaker. My question is nomor 116.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker dan Yang Berhormat for Tamin. For the information of Ahli Yang Berhormat for Tamin, throughout this MA63 implementation exercise, the Sarawak government has successfully achieved agreement with the federal government in the following matters. 1. Restoring the Sarawak status as an equal partner in the formation of Malaysia in 1963 through an amendment to Article 1, Bracket 2 of the Federal Constitution that was done last year in 2021. Article 160 of the Federal Constitution has also been amended, specifically the amendment to the term federation in the Federal Constitution, where with the amendment we have incorporated the Malaysia Agreement 1963 and its annexes as part of the Federal Constitution. And the amendment to Article 161 capital A of the Federal Constitution empowers the state to determine a more complete interpretation of the term native to ensure that no race is left out. Following this amendment, the Interpretation Ordinance 2005 was amended last year in February 2022 to update the list of native races recognized in the state. This amendment also allows children from mixed marriages where one of the parents is a native to be recognized as a native subject to conditions and requirement imposed by Majlis Mesyuarat Kedua Negeri. The amendment to the Interpretation Ordinance 2005 came into force on 1st November 2023. The Sarawak government also succeeded in its demand to have a representative on the Inland Revenue Board Malaysia as provided for in paragraph 24 bracket 1 of the Intergovernmental Committee IGC report. Subsequent to this appointment, the Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia Amendment Act 2023 was passed in Parliament on 11th November 2023 to provide for the appointment of a representative from Sarawak as a permanent member of the Inland Revenue Board Malaysia. Jabatan Kerja Raya Sarawak and Jabatan Kerja Raya Sabah have also been recognized as technical departments under Treasury Instruction 182, which gives power to Jabatan Kerja Raya Sarawak and Sabah to administer federal government development projects implemented in Sarawak and Sabah with a project value limiting not exceeding RM50 million. This recognition was also extended to the Department of Irrigation Sarawak and Department of Irrigation Sabah. The Sarawak government has also successfully increased the amount of the special grant to the Sarawak government up to 300 million as an interim payment from 2023. This interim grant will be adopted until a formula can be finalized and a new amount can be agreed by both parties. This is certainly a great achievement to the Sarawak government, in addition to the many other previous successful negotiations with the federal government. The Sarawak government will continue to negotiate with the federal government in order to fulfill the remaining demands as stipulated under MA63. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Deputy Minister, for replying my question. Tan Sri Utama Speaker, I have two supplementary questions. Number one, what the current status of negotiation of the 30% representative in the Parliament? 35%, sorry. And number two, I would like to know, to all the claim of Sarawak, is the Sarawak government putting any limit to all this to be completed? Thank you.
For the information of Yang Berhormat for Tamin, The Sarawak government has submitted our proposal paper to the federal government to propose for the increase in the number of representatives of Sarawak in the Dewan Rakyat up to 35%. Actually, 35% is for representation from both Sabah and Sarawak. In fact, we had meetings on this proposal. Namely our Mesyuarat Jawatankuasa Kerja bagi membincangkan cadangan pindaan perundangan berkaitan pelaksanaan perjanjian Malaysia were held on 10 August 2023 and 30th October 2023 at the State Federal Secretary's Office and also at the Sabah Federal Secretary's Office. We had 2 meetings already on this. The decision, which are positives, made at the working level will be brought up to the technical committee meeting and subsequently be presented to the Majlis Tindakan Pelaksanaan Perjanjian Malaysia 1963, which will be chaired by Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister for the committee's endorsement. The Sarawak government hopes that our proposal to increase the number of representatives from Sarawak and Sabah will be realized and endorsed by the committee, and thereafter the amendment to Article 46 of the Federal Constitution need to be passed to ensure a balanced representative in the Dewan Rakyat in accordance to the spirit and the intention of the formation of Malaysia in 1963. As for the second question as to the time limit, the short answer is no. There shall be no time frame as to the negotiation period. Our negotiations are progressively moving forward, and as I have responded just now, we have achieved successes, but still a lot more have to be done and achieved. The state will continue to pursue to safeguard our rights under the Federal Constitution and the MA 63 for as long as it takes. Thank you.
Yang Berhormat Encik John Ilus, Bukit Semuja.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker. Soalan saya nombor 117.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Speaker. Terima kasih Ahli Yang Berhormat dari Bukit Semuja. Seperti mana Ahli Yang Berhormat bagi Bukit Semuja sedia maklum, Rancan Recreation Park is a popular weekend destination for locals as well as visitors from outside Serian. It is currently provided with chalet accommodation facilities, discussion or syndication rooms, restaurant, gerai makan Islam, playground, and a multi-purpose hall which are open for public use. Under the Greater Kuching Coordinated Development Agency, GKCDA, which I believe Ahli Yang Berhormat Semuja is a member, there is a proposal to upgrade Rancan Recreation Park with an estimated cost of 12 million. At the same time, Serian District Council, being the custodian of Taman Tasik Danu Serian, is actively seeking for interested investors to further develop and upgrade the existing facilities such as gazebo, car parks, trading area or stalls, as well as jogging tracks through private financing initiatives. It is hoped, therefore, that with these improved facilities, it can spur the growth of local economy as well as to enhance the tourism potential of Taman Tasik Danu Serian. In this regard, Tan Sri Speaker, I would like to urge Ahli Yang Berhormat from Bukit Semuja to assist the Serian District Council to solicit for funds from the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, Sarawak, as well as the Federal Ministry of Tourism, Malaysia, to upgrade the facilities at Taman Tasik Danu for the benefits of local Syrian as well as the visitors.
Thank you, Deputy Minister, for the answer. Tan Sri Dato' Speaker, I have two supplementary questions. The first one is, what are the components of the project to upgrade the Taman Rekreasi Rancang? And secondly, what are the activities or programs designed to attract domestic and international tourists to Tasik Danau Serian? Thank you.
Terima kasih sekali lagi, Tan Sri Speaker. For the information of Ahli Yang Berhormat Bukit Semuja, the project components include the upgrading of access roads and the drainage system, improvement of parking facilities, and the refurbishment of the existing chalets. With regards to question number 2, for the information of Ahli Yang Berhormat for Tasik Danau Serian, Bukit Semuja, Tasik Danau Serian stands out as a very favorite recreational park among the local residents. It is worth mentioning that Tasik Danau Serian hosts 2 primary annual tourism events, specifically Pesta Danau Serian and Serian International Remote Control Carnival. Pesta Danau Serian, organized by the resident office, primarily aims to provide the local communities with an opportunity to enjoy food, music, and engage in friendly competitions featuring traditional games between the various communities. Syrian International Remote Control Carnival, which is an annual event held in the first week of December and organized by Syrian District Council, attracts not only local participants but also draws participants from foreign countries such as Brunei, Saudi Arabia, Thailand, and Indonesia. Such activities contribute to the local economy by providing economic opportunities for local vendors, and additionally, this event serves as a platform to showcase and introduce the unique cultures as well as the handicraft of the Syrian communities to the world. Thank you very much.
Yang Berhormat Dato' Insino Low Keciat Batu Kitang.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. Allow me to share a simple pantun this morning. Oi, oi, pending sama padungan. Mana itu janji dan harapan? Bagus letak jawatan. GPS membawa Sarawak maju ke hadapan. Soalan saya 118. Mohon YB Menteri memberi jawapan. Thank you.
Terima kasih, Dato' Ahmad Tan Sri Speaker. Panjang pantunnya. Batu Kitang, pekan bersejarah. Tepat mak ya selalu berjual beli. Nang dolo aku dah madah. Pantun Batu Kitang tepat sekali. Betul kata Tan Sri. Tan Sri Speaker, for the information of the honourable member for Batu Kitang, the memorandum of understanding between the Sarawak government, Hornbill Skyways Sdn Bhd, and the Malaysian Aviation Group MAG was signed on the 27th October 2023. In this regard, the Sarawak government is in the process of conducting due diligence on Mas Wing Sdn Bhd and negotiating with the Malaysian Aviation Group and the Khazanah National Berhad to acquire the shares in Mas Wing. The takeover will be in stages, and the operation of the Sarawak-owned airline will only commence once the whole takeover process is completed and finalized.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. I have two supplementary questions. Question number 1. What is the purpose of the MOU signed by the Sarawak government with the federal government on the 20th of July 2023? Question number 2. What are the current rural air services, RAS, subsidized routes approved by the Malaysian Aviation Commission? Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker.
Terima kasih, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, and thank you to the member for Batu Kitang. It appears that you are very much in touch with our chronology of events with regards to this matter. On the first question, the MOU signed between the Sarawak government and the federal government on the 20th of July 2023 is on the acquisition of the Rural Air Service, RAS, by the Sarawak government taking over. Through this MOU, the federal government has given the assurance to continue the RAS subsidy. This is very important. To continue the RAS subsidy, and the acquisition of the RAS by the Sarawak government will not affect the rural air services on all existing RAS routes as stipulated in the RAS agreement, meaning that everything is status quo. So the subsidy is maintained and the rural air services that is presently now is maintained. On your second question, based on the Malaysian Aviation Commission Act 2015, Act 771, a total of 40 routes were approved as the rural air services routes. Below are the details of the route. 30 routes for internal Sarawak, 6 routes for internal Sabah, and 4 routes for interstate Sarawak and Sabah. Thank you.
Yang Berhormat Encik Aula bin Dris Semunjan.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. Nak berpantun juga sikit. Hari Minggu pergi panggilan di Kampung Kuap. Soalan saya 119, harap Pak Menteri menjawab.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. Belum jumpa idea untuk pantun. Untuk makluman ahli yang berhormat bagi Simunjan, Kerajaan Sarawak amat menitik berat akan usaha-usaha menangani masalah dadah dan substan, termasuk juga di kawasan luar bandar. Jadi bagi menangani isu dadah dan substan ini, Kerajaan Sarawak telah mengambil tindakan seperti berikut. Pertamanya, penubuhan tadbir urus OSC MITS Sarawak. Kerajaan Sarawak telah menubuhkan One Stop Committee bagi menangani isu dadah dan substans atau OSC MITS peringkat negeri dan daerah di Sarawak sejak tahun 2018 lagi untuk melaksanakan pelan tindakan MITS secara bersepadu, merangkumi penyekatan penawaran dan permintaan dadah, rawatan dan pemulihan, pencegahan dan pemantapan tadbir urus MITS dengan penubuhan Biro MITS kawasan Penghulu. Yang kedua, penubuhan rangkaian rawatan dan pemulihan penyalahgunaan dadah. Bagi memperluaskan akses kepada rawatan dan pemulihan, kerajaan telah menubuhkan One Stop Center for Addiction atau OSCA di klinik-klinik kesihatan di Sarawak yang mempunyai pakar perubatan keluarga. Kementerian juga telah menubuhkan Community Development and Intervention Center atau CDIC dengan kerjasama OSC MITS daerah untuk individu dan keluarga terjebak substan di baut dan di dalat untuk bahagian muka. Dan ketiga, penubuhan Jawatan Kuasa Pemulihan Dadah Daerah JKPD bagi memantapkan usaha rawatan dan pemulihan dadah di peringkat daerah. Jawatan Kuasa Pemulihan Dadah Daerah sudah mula ditubuhkan. Bagi menangani isu penyalahan gunaan dadah dan substan di daerah Semunjan, kerajaan telah mengambil langkah-langkah seperti berikut. 1. Menempatkan anggota narkotik di Ibu Pejabat Polis daerah Semunjan. 2. Menubuhkan JKPD daerah Semunjan. Dan ketiga, menubuhkan Oscar di Klinik Kesihatan Asajaya yang terdekat dengan daerah Semunjan. Terima kasih.
Tan Sri Speaker atau Speaker, dan terima kasih kepada Timbalan Menteri. Saya ada dua soalan tambahan. Soalan pertama saya adalah berapakah jumlah orang kena pengawasan ataupun OKP di kawasan Semunjan? Dan soalan kedua, berapakah bilangan tangkapan yang melibatkan aktiviti penyalahgunaan dadah dan substan sejak tahun 2019 di daerah Semunjan? Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Yang Berhormat bagi Semunjan. Untuk makluman ahli Yang Berhormat bagi Semunjan, jumlah orang kena pengawasan OKP di bawah seliaan AADK Negeri Sarawak di kawasan Semunjan sehingga Oktober tahun ini adalah sebanyak 27 orang. Itu untuk menjawab soalan pertama. Jadi untuk soalan taman kedua, untuk makluman ahli Yang Berhormat bagi Semunjan, sepanjang tahun 2019 hingga 2022, sebanyak 237 tangkapan direkodkan oleh PDRM dan AADK Sarawak atas pelbagai kesalahan di bawah Akta Dadah Berbahaya 1952 dan Akta Racun 1952 di daerah Semunjan. Jadi bagi tempoh 1 Januari tahun ini sehingga direkodkan 30 September 2003 tahun ini pula, sebanyak 43 tangkapan telah direkodkan di Semunjan. Jadi justru itu kita menyeru agar semua lapisan masyarakat memainkan peranan untuk bersama meningkatkan usaha menanamkan kesedaran di kalangan masyarakat kita tentang bahaya penyalahgunaan dadah dan substan ini. Terima kasih.
Yang Berhormat Encik Alan Geramong Macan.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Speaker. Soalan saya nombor 120.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, sir. For the information of the Honourable Member for Macan, for the world to transform into a net zero carbon future, the technical based solution is the preferred solution as compared to the nature based solution. And carbon storage, carbon capture, usage and storage is the most powerful, the most effective and the most accurate method to achieve this transformation. Carbon capture is actually a process whereby the carbon dioxide emitted by the industrial plants are captured in two ways. One is through the chemical method, secondly through direct air capture or DAC. And the captured carbon dioxide is liquefied and then transported either by ships for the offshore storage or through pipelines for the onshore storage. And the carbon dioxide, the liquefied carbon dioxide, is stored either in the geological formations, that is in the saline aquifer, under the seabed, which Sarawak has, and also in the depleted oil wells, which Sarawak has 1,665 depleted oil wells. And so we can imagine the amount of potential storage for carbon dioxide, which is about 9 billion tons, as compared to nature-based solution through our carbon sink, with an estimated carbon storage of 750 million tons to about 1 billion tons. So that is why Sarawak is focusing and aggressively going towards CCUS industry. Sarawak is also outside the ring of fire, meaning that Sarawak's location is a very stable location. And in the world, there are only 3 such locations, which are in the North Sea in Norway, secondly in the United States of America, somewhere near Houston, and third is in the waters of Sarawak, and a little bit in the east coast of West Malaysia. The CCUS industry for Sarawak is focused more on transboundary carbon storage, meaning that we are going to store other people's carbon. For example, the carbon emitted in Korea, in Japan, and also in Singapore. And we are already negotiating with all these countries. Petros is the licensee or the resource manager for the CCUS industry, and the project implementers, for example, Petronas, Shell, ExxonMobil, Equinor, and Storegga, and so on, will have to collaborate with Petros in order to do the CCUS industry. And the first project, CCUS project, has been awarded the licensing to Petros and also to Petronas at the M1 Kasawari project. The revenues. What are the revenues that Sarawak can get from the CCUS industry? Number 1 is through the licensing, number 2 is through the permits, and number 3 is through the carbon storage fees. Now, these fees are now being calculated by our agencies, and eventually it shall be approved by the Cabinet. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I have 2 supplementary questions. Number 1 is, what are the considerations to determine the tariff? And number 2, how will the additional gas unlocked by CCS contribute to energy security Sarawak?
For Machan. Of course, the calculation will be based on 3 factors. Number 1 is the capital expenses. Number 2 is the operating expenses. And number 3 is the carbon pricing. So in the world, the trend is that more and more industries will go into carbon storage instead of going into carbon credits, which will end up in green washing. That is, they buy credits, but they do not reduce the carbon emitted by the industries. And secondly, for the second supplementary question, the additional gas will be an addition to our gas security, and this is very good because it can be used in our combined cycle gas power plants, and also it will contribute in our Sarawak gas roadmap. Thank you.
Yang Berhormat Encik Syafiee Ahmad Daro.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Datuk Mas Speaker. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Soalan saya nombor 121.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. Terima kasih bagi ahli yang berhormat bagi Daruh atas soalan. Di sini saya melihat ada dua perkara, iaitu berkenaan dengan program Tunas Usahawan Belia TIUB, dan yang kedua ialah program-program khusus untuk membantu para belia di dalam bidang keusahawanan. Untuk menjawab perkara yang pertama, untuk makluman yang berhormat bagi Daruh, program Tunas Usahawan Belia atau TIUB dilaksanakan pada tahun 2014 di bawah kendalian SME Corporation. Sejumlah 728 usahawan belia telah berjaya mengikuti latihan di bawah program TIUB ini. Daripada jumlah tersebut, 695 iaitu orang 95% usahawan telah mendaftarkan perniagaan dan mendapat bantuan geran berjumlah ringgit Malaysia 10.12 juta. Melalui usahawan TIUB, sejumlah 1,439 peluang pekerjaan telah diwujudkan dan telah mencatatkan jualan terkumpul sebanyak ringgit Malaysia 9.6 juta. Di sini saya ingin berkongsi beberapa orang usahawan lepasan TIUB yang telah berjaya sehingga kini. Iaitu yang pertama ialah Ahmad Tamar Sdn Bhd di Kuching, yang mana mereka mengeluarkan produk kurma premium dengan mencatatkan jualan setahun, jualan tahunan lebih kurang 2 juta. Dan yang kedua ialah Ajak Haircut di Mukah, yang mana beliau membuka kedai gunting rambut dan setakat ini telah berjaya membuka 9 outlet, iaitu di Mukah, Belangian, Bintulu, Dalat, Sibu Jaya, Sibu dan Miri, dengan jumlah jualan tahunan sebanyak 700,000. Dan yang ketiga ialah Creativeness Enterprise di Kuching, iaitu printing dan merchandise item, yang mana beliau telah mendapat jualan terkumpul sebanyak lebih kurang 400,000. Dan yang keempat ialah The Angels di Sri Aman. Beliau adalah UAM produk kopi, iaitu yang mana beliau telah mendapat jualan terkumpul sebanyak lebih kurang 60,000. Dan yang kelima ialah PS Auto Workshop dari Lawas, yang mana beliau telah membuka bengkel membaiki kenderaan di Kuching dengan jualan per tahun adalah sebanyak 150,000. Jadi bagi perkara yang kedua yang Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, Kementerian melalui bahagian pembangunan usahawan telah melaksanakan pelbagai program khusus bagi membantu para belia di dalam bidang usahawan, iaitu meliputi kategori seperti berikut. Yang pertama, promosi dan pembangunan usahawan. Sebanyak 30 program telah dilaksanakan di seluruh Sarawak, melibatkan 3,654 orang peserta. Yang kedua, jualan produk usahawan. Sebanyak 20 program jualan yang melibatkan seramai 526 usahawan yang mencatatkan nilai jualan terkumpul lebih ringgit Malaysia 1 juta. Dan yang ketiga ialah latihan dan pembangunan kapasiti. Sebanyak 7 program dilaksanakan khusus kepada belia yang mengambil kira keperluan dan kehendak masyarakat setempat. Dan sebenarnya pada tahun ini, iaitu pada awal bulan 11 tadi, kita sepatutnya menganjurkan Youthpreneur Carnival 2023, yang mana kita telah menjemput figura usahawan wanita, iaitu Datin Bibi Yusof dari segi produk influencer dan fashion. Kita menjemput Dato' Ramli Burger, iaitu produk makanan, dan juga kita menjemput Khairul Aming, influencer dan juga produk makanan sambal nyet, serta kita menjemput Last Kopek owner yang Dato' Burhanuddin untuk berkongsi dari segi inovasi dan animation industri. Dan program ini telah kita tunda ke tahun hadapan disebabkan oleh kekangan yang tidak dapat dielakkan. Dan ini adalah program-program yang kita anjurkan untuk mempromosi dan inspire the youth untuk venture into entrepreneurship. Terima kasih.
Yang berhormat Encik Abdul Yaakob RB.
Tuan Speaker, izinkan saya buat pertanyaan soalan tambahan. Terima kasih kepada Yang Berhormat Perdana Menteri di atas penjelasan yang diberi. Saya ada dua soalan tambahan. Yang pertama, apakah masalah-masalah utama yang dihadapi oleh usahawan muda untuk melibatkan diri dalam bidang keusahawanan? Dan soalan yang kedua, apakah tindakan kementerian untuk membantu menyelesaikan masalah-masalah tersebut? Terima kasih, Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker.
Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker, terima kasih Yang Berhormat Bagi Daru atas soalan tambahan. Bagi menjawab soalan yang pertama, untuk maklumat Ahli Yang Berhormat Bagi Daru, berdasarkan maklum balas, pandangan dan sesi interaksi sepanjang pelaksanaan program-program keusahawanan, masalah-masalah utama yang dihadapi oleh para belia yang ingin mencuburi bidang keusahawanan ialah yang pertama, bilangan premis yang tidak mencukupi dan juga kadar sewa yang agak tinggi serta premis yang sedia ada berada di lokasi yang tidak strategik. Kedua ialah prosedur dan dokumentasi rumit yang diperlukan untuk tujuan pelesenan dan juga permohonan pinjaman ataupun grant yang disediakan. Yang ketiga ialah startup capital, modal perniagaan dan juga bantuan peralatan. Serta yang keempat ialah keperluan khusus atau program dan aktiviti yang berkaitan dengan peningkatan kemahiran keusahawanan dan termasuklah kurangnya literasi dalam pengurusan kewangan dan juga pengurusan rekod-rekod perniagaan. Dan Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker, untuk menjawab soalan yang kedua ialah untuk makluman Yang Berhormat Bagi Daru, tindakan yang telah diambil oleh pihak kementerian ialah kalau dari segi kesediaan premis dan juga kadar sewa yang tinggi, kita telah berhubung dengan agensi yang berkaitan seperti majlis daerah dan juga agensi-agensi yang menyediakan ruang niaga untuk melihat daripada kadar sewa dan juga lokaliti premis perniagaan yang disediakan supaya ia berada di lokasi yang strategik serta boleh membantu para usahawan meningkatkan jualan. Berkenaan dengan prosedur dokumentasi pelesenan, jadi kita telah mengkaji perkara ini dan kita telah mengadakan satu sesi roundtable dengan agensi-agensi berkaitan dan kita akan mencadangkan supaya prosedur ini akan dapat disimplify. Dan yang ketiga ialah berkenaan dengan bantuan modal dan peralatan, dan kita di Kementerian MYTV telah merangka satu program untuk mewujudkan lebih banyak bantuan-bantuan keusahawanan yang akan diberikan terutama kepada golongan belia, dan ini adalah fokus kepada menjadikan para belia ini menjadi seorang entrepreneur, iaitu menjadi job creator instead of job seekers. Dan yang keempat ialah berkenaan dengan program-program kemahiran keusahawanan, kita telah merangka pelbagai program untuk diadakan pada tahun hadapan, dan kita akan pergiatkan lagi program-program ini supaya lebih ramai para belia kita akan mencuburi bidang keusahawanan. Terima kasih.
Yang Berhormat, question time is up.
Pertanyaan-pertanyaan bagi jawapan-jawapan lisan.
Pele. Move to the debate.
Sambungan perbahasan atas bacaan kali yang kedua Rang Undang-Undang Perbekalan 2024, 2023 dan usul untuk merujuk resolusi anggaran pembelanjaan pembangunan bagi tahun 2024.
Otherwise, we have to repeat the Q&A. Ahli yang berhormat, understanding order 31.8, I hereby impose a limit of 20 minutes on the speeches to debate on the supply 2024 bill 2023 and the motion to refer the resolution on the development estimates 2024 to a maximum of 20 minutes. I call upon Honourable Member for Bawang Asam.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker. Let me first of all, as once a fellow speaker, congratulate you on your recent reappointment as Speaker for yet another term of 2 years. Time flies. I was in your chair some 30 years ago. Remember, I was Speaker for 3 years from 1994 to 1996. I still keep in touch with some of the 56 British Commonwealth parliamentary countries. As far as I know, you are the longest serving speaker, of course, not only in Malaysia, but also in the entire British Commonwealth countries. You may have created the world record, in fact, for the longest serving speaker in the entire world. The only one I can recall who served as speaker in the entire British Commonwealth countries for more than 20 years was Tun Muhammad Zahir bin Ismail. He was Speaker for Malaysian Parliament for 22 years, from 1982 to 2004. But you have already served 23 years, surpassed him. Indeed, you have created an unmatched record as Speaker. I can recall, Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker, Tun Zahir used to tell us that after 20 years, one can become a working dictionary for all the other speakers to refer to. And I think with your vast experience and the wealth of parliamentary knowledge, you can be even a bigger parliamentary dictionary for all to refer to, particularly for all the British Commonwealth countries. Congratulations once again, Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker. Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to participate in the debate on the Supply 2024 Bill 2023, tabled by the Minister for Finance and New Economy, Yang Amat Berhormat the Premier, on 19th November 2023. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker, this year we are in Sarawak celebrating our 60th anniversary of the formation of our country, Malaysia. It therefore presents a fitting occasion for us to briefly look back over the past 60 years and to take stock of our past and plan for the next phase of our development. 10 years ago, during the 50th anniversary, the then Chief Minister P. Sri Haji Abdul Taib Mahmud, in his budget speech delivered on 27 November 2013, he had this to say, I quote, "Sarawak has progressed tremendously in a few decades with the implementation of our development strategies that had introduced activities to add value to agriculture-based economy and to expand our manufacturing sector. We're now laying the foundation to transform the state economy to capital and energy-intensive industrial economy and moving up to the value chain to become high-income and advanced economy." Unquote. Pin Sri Haji Abdul Taib Mahmud will be remembered by us for setting up score areas stretching from Semelaju to Tanjung Manis, laying the foundation for manufacturing and industrial development, and also for enhancing human resource development by setting up state-funded colleges and universities. Under his rule, Pin Sri Haji Abdul Taib Mahmud had brought about for Sarawak a stable, peaceful and harmonious social and political environment amidst the uncertainties surrounding us. Then came the rather short reign of Dato' Patiki Haji Adinan Satem. We people of Sarawak, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, will remember him for his very bold role in championing Sarawak for Sarawakians. He set about reviewing the implementation of MA 63 and unreservedly trying to defend, protect and reclaim the rights of the state as enshrined in MA 63 and the constitutional instruments annexed thereto. He also initiated a great deal of measures which brought direct benefits to the people, such as lowering of the tariff charges for water and electricity, reduction in the amount of quit rent, and doing away with bridge tolls, etc. Unfortunately, Dato' Patiki Adinan Satem passed away untimely on 11 January 2017. Yang Amat Berhormat Dato' Patiki Abang Johari took over the helm on 17 January 2017. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, Dato' Patiki Abang Johari continued the effort of the late Dato' Patiki Adinan Satem by exerting our rights under MA 63. This is what Dato' Patiki Abang Johari said in his winding out speech on 17 November 2017. I quote, "We are exercising our rights under MA 63 because we want to safeguard our economic interests and for the present and future generations of Sarawak. It is about reclaiming what God has given us for our share of the earth." A devolution process then initiated by the Premier began. Immediately also, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, due to his ingenuity and his revenue re-engineering initiatives, and indeed a very daring move, the Premier started the imposition of state sales tax on oil and gas, which enhanced our financial capacity to fund our long-awaited basic infrastructure and amenities for the well-being of our people. The Premier set up state-owned petros in order to have a share in our oil and gas resources. To facilitate better funding arrangement and management, the Premier set up the BOSS, Development Bank of Sarawak. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, indeed, Dato' Patiki Abang Johari, upon taking office, initiated and launched a series of projects and programs endeavoring to put our state and our state economy, our state development and our state economy in a different paradigm. No sooner had he assumed office, Premier adopted what he called digital approach or digital agenda to maximize digital technology and digitalization to leapfrog the state economy. The Premier set up multimedia authority to formulate policies and standards to take charge of digital infrastructure, cyber security, digital government, e-commerce, talent development, digital village, and startup and R&D in digital technology. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Mas Speaker, the Premier also committed himself to pushing forward for big data to create a digital state for Sarawak. The Premier initiated the program to position Sarawak as an exporter of green hydrogen, said the Premier in his 2023 budget speech. I quote, "Sarawak is aiming to become a leader in hydrogen economy in Malaysia. We plan to begin large-scale production and export of hydrogen by year 2027. The Premier planned the carbon culture, utilization, storage, CCUS industry as a source of revenue through carbon trading." I'm glad that the Deputy Minister answered the question asked very well just now. The Premier set up a wholly owned state entity, Microelectronics Design, SMD, Semiconductor Sdn Bhd, to play the role for Sarawak in the semiconductor industry. The Premier aimed to materialize the Borneo Grid to enable Sarawak to become the battery of ASEAN, providing the region with affordable, reliable, and renewable energy. The Premier planned to go direct to 5G rather than the incremental 4G. The Premier established the Sarawak Infectious Disease Centre to spur the development of biomedical and biotechnology industries. Further, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Mas Speaker, the Premier initiated the setting up of the first industrial algae carbon capture facility in Malaysia and eventually, as said by the Premier, the biggest in the world, which will be the future economic driver for Sarawak. The Premier initiated and built a public transportation network powered by hydrogen via the Autonomous Rapid Transit ART system. The Premier initiated the acquisition of mass wings so as to establish Sarawak's own airline. The Premier planned for Sarawak to set up its own commercial bank in the near future. The Premier also aimed to provide free education by 2026 for Sarawak students enrolled in all the state-owned IPTS. The Premier wanted the education system to produce more skilled workforce that meet the latest industrial needs. He therefore emphasizes technical and vocational training, TVET, as an enabler which can contribute to the success of industrialization. The Premier proceeded to set up 5 international schools to provide all young deserving students, regardless of family background, to undergo international standard syllabuses. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Mas Speaker, the Premier also planned to secure or to resume onshore oil drilling to further spur our economic growth. The Premier will provide significant funding research for the procurement of high-end equipment such as the generative artificial intelligence. The Premier planned to plant and replant our degraded forest areas with new fast-growing species, and they become a feedstock to produce pellets to generate power, an additional source of power to our green energy. As a major effort to take care of state wealth and for the benefits of our future generation, the Premier set up the State Sovereign Wealth Fund, SSWFF, which will begin operations early next year. And as we were told in the newly released budget, the initial appropriation to the fund will be 8 billion ringgit. To strengthen good governance and to ensure the culture of integrity, the Premier initiated Ombudsman Bill, which was tabled to this June and duly passed on Monday, 19 November 2023. Indeed, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker, the Premier has left no stones unturned in his planning for the development of Sarawak. He told the people that, I quote, "I am fully committed to ensuring that our people should no longer be deprived of the basic needs and the opportunity to a better or more prosperous life," unquote. Towards this end, the Premier set out, as we were told in 2024 budget, 9 rural development authorities and to provide funds to bring about better infrastructure facilities, particularly in the rural areas. Indeed, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker, we have come a long way in terms of our socio-economic transformation, especially in recent years under Premier Dato' Patinggi Abang Johari, and in particular when he established the Sarawak Economic Council, SEAC, to formulate the State Post-COVID-19 Development Strategy 2030, targeting an annual growth rate of 6 to 8% to enable Sarawak to achieve a high-income society and a developed state by 2030. In this year's budgets delivered on 19 November 2023, the Premier again outlined to focus on 12 strategic thrusts to further strengthen Sarawak socio-economic development transformation and improve the quality of life of the people. We can therefore look forward with optimism to greater development in future years for the state of Sarawak. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker, it is clear that the people's wish for a better life is what our Premier is aiming for. The Premier said, I quote, in his 2024 budget speech, I quote, "My administration is to accelerate infrastructure development throughout the state to facilitate socio-economic development, ultimately improving our people's overall quality of life. Sarawak will also be able to enjoy better access to education, healthcare, housing, and other essential services," unquote. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Mas Speaker, we all realize that at this crucial stage of our state development, political unity, solidarity, and stability are the important elements that cannot be faltered and should be the targets to aim for. People like all of us occupying positions of leadership and influence should lead their followers and their people and to these ideals and objectives. We are therefore ready to give full support and to rally behind GPS government under the capable leadership of Premier Dato' Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari, while also giving full support to the unity government at federal level under Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, the present political environment around us should convince us that we need to reassess our political role in a more realistic perspective, and a more responsible political attitude is required. Ultimately, particularly with our countries now being threatened by increasing forces of religious and racial extremism, the choice in front of us is very obvious. People of all races and regions must rally behind the unity government at federal level under Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim to enable him to carry out his objective of Malaysia Madani and at state level People's First GPS government under Premier Dato Petinggi Abang Johari, to enable him to realize his post-COVID-19 development strategy to bring about high-income society and a developed state for Sarawak. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, we as elected people's representatives will continue to play our dutiful roles of providing check and balance in helping the government. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, we all have an important responsibilities in speaking out on behalf of the legitimate concern and interests of the people. But we must be armed with facts and figures to point out why it is that certain policies and programs or projects are not right, are unfair, or are unjust, or they may adversely affect the interests of the people, and how to work for suitable changes. To us, Tan Sri Dato' Speaker, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, those problems and issues which can be solved must be solved without delays. But those issues such as seeking equality, justice and fair play for all communities, which are sensitive and which cannot be solved immediately, must be collectively deliberated to secure a dignified compromise and a workable consensus. At the same time, we must take into account the fact that we are in a multiracial, multi-religious society with different races having their own pride and sensitivities and their respective interests and demands. It is best for all of us to sit down quietly and rationally to resolve issues and problems through the spirit of cooperation and goodwill. More importantly, we must not be shackled by racial emotions. We must open ourselves to a broader, more encompassing Sarawakian perspective rather than getting trapped in a narrow parochial and communal tunnel vision. In fact, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, all that is necessary is a little give and take, a little concern for each other's feelings, a lot of sincerity and care, and a strong conviction in our mind that we truly value unity for the good of ourselves and for our future generation. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, we as YBs, all of us, should be bold and frank to voice our opinions, viewpoints, facts and figures, and even in-depth suggestions and criticism which can best be channeled directly to the respective ministries and even to the Premier's office itself. In this connection, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Speaker, I would like to quote what the Premier said in his winding out speech delivered in this Dewan on 17 November 2017, I quote, "As I lay out my ideas, I hope I do not give the impression that I'll be the only person in Sarawak doing everything for Sarawak. No, on the contrary, I'm creating opportunities for more people to get involved to do great things together for Sarawak," unquote. I would like to further quote the Premier. In the same speech, he said, I quote, "I stand to be guided and corrected in policies and projects. I do hope that those in the know will come forward and give their advice to the government. I'm always willing to listen," unquote. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dr. Speaker, we have a leader of such leadership qualities and dynamism in the person of our Premier, understanding, passionate, committed, and easily accessible. All of us in these chambers can voice our concern loudly and clearly to Premier direct, and with the Premier setting such an exemplary role, I'm sure all the other ministers and the entire civil service will do likewise as what the Premier is prepared to do. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dr. Speaker, I would like to further quote the Premier in his same winding up speech. I quote, "Many of the things we are doing are new to Sarawak. We only have hope and faith and courage. Together, and God willing, we together shall succeed," unquote. Since our Premier has provided a visionary and progressive leadership, we should all join hands together to strive for the shared visions with the Premier to achieve the common goals for a common good. We must therefore all come together to play our respective roles in shaping the history of Sarawak, negaraku yang dicintai. Dengan ini, saya sekali lagi menyokong Supply 2024 Bill 2023. Sebelum saya mengundur diri, saya ingin mengucapkan selamat Hari Christmas kepada semua yang menyambutnya dan selamat menyambut Tahun Baru. Sekian, terima kasih. Thank you.
I now call upon Yang Berhormat Honourable Member for Dudong. I call upon Honourable Member for Tebeda.
A very good morning. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, thank you very much for allowing me as the people's representative for N21 Tebeda to participate in the debate on Supply 2024 Bill 2023 that was tabled by the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak, who happens to be the Minister of Finance and New Economy, and a member for Dun and 26 Gedong, who presented the bill on the 20th November 2023 in this August House. Congratulations to the Right Honourable Premier on the successful preparation and presentation of the 2024 budget in this August House, and also I would like to congratulate the Right Honourable Premier for his leadership in achieving a high income status state, which was declared by the World Bank along with Federal Territory Kuala Lumpur, Penang and Labuan Federal Territory by surpassing the World Bank High Income Threshold classification of USD 13,845 by USD 18,360 gross national income or GNI. As a Sarawakian myself, I'm very proud, and we should be proud of YAB Premier's achievement, and we hope and pray that Sarawak will continue to achieve more success under the able leadership of our Right Honourable Premier. I would also like to congratulate YAB Premier on his latest Distinguished Honorary Fellow from the Asian Federation of Engineering Association. Indeed, you have made us Sarawakian proud to be called Rakyat Bumi Kenyalang. The first issue that I would like to bring up in this August House is the development bias budget. YB Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker 2024 budget presentation by the Right Honourable Premier is a budget with a theme, Together Building a Prosperous, Sustainable and United Sarawak, is very, very appropriate. It is a record-breaking budget in Sarawak history. This is a development bias budget that provides Ringgit Malaysia 9.038 billion, which accounts for about 70.9%, dedicated to develop every nook and corners of Sarawak. For the past 5 years, we saw a steady increase in our state budget. A sum of RM 9.9 billion was budgeted for 2020, RM 10.01 billion for 2021 budget, RM 10.036 billion for 2022, RM 10.797 billion budgeted for 2023, and this year we are given a budget amounting to RM 17.749 billion. This indicates that under the leadership of YAB Premier, we are on the right track, and I place my highest confidence that we will achieve the high income economy status by 2030. This development bias budget that covers 12 strategic trusts and various initiatives are implemented to accelerate economic growth, stimulate regional and rural development, promoting investments, transform economic resilience and competitiveness, strengthening human capital and talent development, intensifying digital transformation, promoting environmental sustainability, strengthening social welfare, promoting sports and youth development, combating poverty and enhancing people's well-being, enhancing government capacity and service delivery. N21 Tebede Constituency GKCDA. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, as the people representative of N21 Tebede, allow me to voice out the aspirations, wishes, and the issues faced by the constituents in this August House. The formation of Greater Kuching Coordinated Agency or GKCDA was very much applauded by all the people in my constituents from all walks of life, young and old, and from all sides of political frontiers. The implementation and actualization of projects proposed and planned are much awaited with enthusiasm. Those projects, when completed, will benefit the people not only in my constituents, but also in the rest of the 10 constituents involved. After the formation of GKCDA, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, numerous engagement and meetings were carried out at the steering committee and also with the implementing agencies such as JKR, DID, Council, Agriculture Department, and all grassroots leaders. This morning, I wish to bring to the attention of this August House that all these projects will be implemented by the various agencies. Currently, they are implementing departmental projects. They are implementing RTPs or Rural Transformation Project, and lately they are requested to implement GKCDA projects. In my opinion, these agencies are a little bit overburdened. So I would like to propose to the government to emulate Department of Irrigation Sarawak by employing JBC engineers to specially assist and implement GKCDA projects to accelerate and expedite the projects in the 10 constituents. Project Rakyat, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, during the last Syrian Division Development Briefing, it is heartening to hear that under Project Rakyat, a sum of 2 million has been allocated for the clearing and cutting down hill at Tabedu and Tekong border, which was completed on the 31st October 2020, and a sum of 5.1 million was allocated to build the new Tabedu District Office, which was completed on the 2nd October 2020. For Kampong Darul Iman Bridge, a sum of 500,000 was allocated, and a sum of 44,000 was allocated for ICQS complex security fence. On behalf of my constituents, I would like to express my thanks and utmost gratitude to YIB Premier for all the Project Rakyat that was given to us and implemented accordingly. I would also like to bring to the attention of this August House that the proposed road from Kampung Temong to Kampung Sibakar that has been designed, our hope is that this road will be given the required allocation with a scheme value of 150 million to enable the road to be constructed, as it will serve as important border security road needed for the benefit of the populace in the area. Number 4, rural focus budget. The continuous effort by the GPS government to narrow the development gap between the rural and the urban is a praiseworthy effort. Through various funding such as Rural Transformation Project, MRPs, and development budgets through the various departments, projects worth millions has been implemented, in the midst of implementation, and will be implemented. Rural Transformation Project has been an important tool and instrument in accelerating economic and infrastructure growth in the rural. I wish to appeal to the government so that the RTP allocation to be increased to at least 8 million ringgit annually. Agriculture Facilitation Fund has been a very good program to assist farmers in my constituents. I also like to appeal to the government to revive this program. I'm very sure my fellow colleagues who are going to debate later will agree that this AFF to be revived to ensure and to make sure that the farmers, especially in my constituent, to enjoy the government assistance and facilities to enable them to catch up with the rest of their comrades in the city and in other parts of Sarawak. Under our DBNA land documentation programs, many villages have completed the exercise. My sincere appeal to the government through Land and Survey Department is to carry out the survey under Section 18 so that individual lots could be issued. It is an encouraging news that the government is allocating 2 million for the above purpose. I believe this amount is inadequate, and I appeal to government to allocate a larger sum so that we can silence the noises, the criticism around this Section 18 issues. The fifth issue is rural ICT and digitalization. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, enhancing the digital connectivity. I'm very pleased to inform this August House of the 11 new MCMC Jendela projects that will be implemented at 11 sites, namely SK Parensuan, Kampung Kohe Mendeg, Kampung Tepoy, Kampung Sejejak, Kampung Krusen Mawang, Kampung Payau Burus, Kampung Lubang Batu Mawang, Kampung Gahat Mawang, Kampung Dahas Roban, Kampung TI, and ICQS Tebedu. These projects will be executed by U-Mobile, Celcom, and Maxis with their Sarawak counterpart, Valsa Sarawak Sdn Bhd. I'm very happy to report in this August House that some of the projects are under construction and a few are going to be implemented. And I would like to express my thanks and gratitude to the Minister of Utilities Sarawak, who have been very supportive of this grand program under the rural ICT and digitalization. Enhancing quality of education. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, the assistance given to students to repay their PTPTN loan is a commendable effort by the state government. The assistance for book voucher of Ringgit Malaysia 500 per person for IPTA and IPTS Sarawakian students with a per capita income of Ringgit Malaysia 1,500 per month and below need to be relooked and need to be reconsidered, because it is not in line with the intention of initiative that is caught. We recognize the need for us to mitigate the cost of living pressures among the low and middle income groups, especially when it comes to bearing the cost of our children's education, unquote. This was a statement done or given to us during the budget presentation a few days ago. I hope and I would humbly propose that the per capita income to qualify the students could be increased in line with the middle income group category, which ranges from 2,992 ringgit and 50 cents to 8,999 ringgit, so that more Sarawakian students could benefit from this initiative. And let us be mindful that they are our future leaders and they will inherit our chair and our position here in the future. This proposal should also include the free laptop initiative to be given to Sarawakian students who have successfully enrolled into IPTS and IPTA. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, the 7 issues, dilapidated school. I have raised these issues in my previous budget speech, and today I wish to raise it up again. We have a school, SK Payau. This school is in a dilapidated state. It needs dire attention and urgent development. I therefore wish to appeal to the Education Department and especially the new Minister of Education to reconstruct a new school for this SK Payau. Under my constituency, we do not want to wait and rebuild the school after any untoward or misfortune happens in the school. And the 8 issues, Ketua Masyarakat dan Pemimpin Akar Umbi. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, peranan Ketua Masyarakat dan Ahli Majlis, Councillors, adalah terlalu penting dan tersangat penting dan tidak dapat disangkal kepentingannya. Sekarang allowance ketua masyarakat adalah ringgit Malaysia 1,300. Allowance ketua kaum adalah ringgit Malaysia 900. Manakala allowance ahli majlis hanya ringgit Malaysia 300 sebulan. Mengikut definisi paras kemiskinan kebangsaan, sesiapa yang berpendapatan di antara ringgit Malaysia 980 ringgit sehingga 2,208 ringgit adalah tergolong di dalam kumpulan B40 dan boleh jatuh ke dalam kumpulan miskin tegar. Ini bermaksud allowance ketua kampung dan ketua masyarakat tergolong dalam kumpulan miskin. Ini memang imbuhan yang diberi kepada mereka langsung tidak setimpal dengan tugas, tanggungjawab dan peranan ketua masyarakat dan ketua kaum, termasuk ahli majlis. Saya percaya Yang Amat Muhammad Premier adalah seorang yang sangat prihatin, seorang yang sangat penyayang dan sangat menitik beratkan kebajikan rakyatnya. Dan oleh yang demikian saya merayu kepada Yang Amat Muhammad Premier selaku Menteri Keuangan kita untuk mempertimbangkan, untuk mengkaji agar allowance ketua masyarakat ini, ketua kaum kita, ahli majlis dan pemimpin-pemimpin akar umbi kita agar diberi penghormatan yang setimpal, agar diberi allowance yang setimpal sejajar dengan ataupun selari dengan tanggungjawab, tugas dan peranan mereka. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, in conclusion, once again I would like to congratulate the Right Honourable Premier, Minister of Finance and New Economy Sarawak for the success in the preparation and presentation of Supply Bill 2024-2023. Tinan kumangan sanda, aku ranya nak bedaya cek Tan Sri Dato' Amah kan tibada maju Sarawak pun maju. Merry Christmas to all my Christian comrades in this August House and Happy New Year to all as we are ushering the New Year 2024. YB Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, with all these remarks, Tabadu beg to support the Supply Bill 2024-2023. Thank you very much.
Member for Dudong.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Amar, for giving me the opportunity to participate in the debate on the Sarawak Budget 2024 in the August House. But before I move into the debate, I would like to take this opportunity also to congratulate Honourable Speaker having reappointed as Speaker of the August House. Firstly, I would like to highlight is since after PRM 2021 have highlighted flood issue. The grassroots in the flash flood or flood area affected in Sibu, especially in Dudong, have addressed and highlighted the flood issue for at least for the past 2 decades. They have been waiting for the DID under the Ministry of the Public Health, Housing and the local government to implement a very effective mitigation system to prevent the people on the ground from the suffering further losses and damages caused by flood. They are annoyed and frustrated as why they have seen and heard unending announcements promising solution to the flood situation, but until now, there has been no real action or the direction to settle the long outstanding matter. Not to mention the anger after there has since the delegation led by the Minister of Public Health, Housing and Local Government to Denmark and the Netherlands on 18 February 2023, claiming it to be a mission to learn about the water resources and management and the water control policy. Yet, nothing of the value seems to have been produced from this visit in the form of the realistic plan for the first flood mitigation in Cebu after months. Why they say that? Because on the 21st of February 2023, Minister of Public Health, Housing and the Local Government mentioned in a Facebook post that the study trip is an eye-opener for him and the rest of the delegation that need to replicate that not just for Cebu Urban Renewal Plan, but throughout Sarawak. And thus government intend to provide technical assistance to the Sarawak to solve the flood problem. At first, people on the ground were very happy to hear this, as they thought that finally see the tunnel light or the hope, and there is finally a realistic plan for the flood mitigation in Cebu, especially in Tudong area. After years, unfortunately, until today, about 1.5 years have passed since 2021, grassroots have highlighted and told me that I should know from the day after election until today how many times there have been summoned or been flooded, and until today they only tell me sampai hari ini saya cuma hari-hari tengok saja banjir, tengok saja their crop being submerged, tengok saja the great losses, tengok saja dia punya rumah barang-barangan terendam dalam air. Tengok saja ini isu bilalah boleh diselesai. The grassroots believe that the attitude of some officers from the related ministry or agency might be more focused on the improvement or improving the people's life problem and be more tenacious, more proactive, especially in the flood mitigation project and dredging issue needed. They must move around on the ground to understand the problems all the people need and study, at the same time come up with a master plan on the proposed solution. They feel very disappointed, not to mention why they've been disappointed, because local drainage system has not shown the significant improvement. The people having asked, is there any master plan for the execution and dredging of the inland drainage system and proposal to upgrade the undersized or improper constructed drainage system, as well as some earth drains should be upgraded now into the concrete drain, while drainage should be widened, deepening, and constructed with the gradient flow from high level to the low level. At this moment, there are also a lot of small river or streams that being reclaimed by the landowner, or due to no maintenance, the stream or the small river have been cropped up by the mud, resulting the water not be able to discharge properly. Previously, in 2021, what I understand that the government had located RM 10 million to survey the Rajang and Igang River. Until today, why the survey of the two rivers is not completed? if survey in these two rivers is not properly or completed the survey, we will never be able to understand or to know the data of the river situation. Then how we can have a proper plan to carry out the design and deepening or dredging for the two rivers. As I mentioned before, the kampong has highlighted to me many times. It become the football hill at the river mouth of the Igang River. That's why when there is heavy rain, water can't discharge properly to the sea. Certain part of the Cebu, especially in Nangka area, it will be flooded all the time. The grassroots asked me to table a question to DID on whether DID could tell them when and how the plan and timeline will be implemented on this flood issue. At the same time, the grassroots appeal to the government really look into it. If we have shortfall of the budget on the deepening of the two rivers, why not we engage some of the public who are interested on the river side, maybe on the dredging or deepening costs. We can offset some of it with the river side, and the balance we get a solution, see who is owing on the project. The attitude of the Revenue Department also made the important to look after the image of the state government. I really appeal the agency or the ministry must really look into it and hands-on on that. Yang Berhormat dan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, secondly, we all know that the rural district council and municipal council have facing the challenges of insufficient funds, leading them to face difficulty in assisting local government and improving infrastructure, such as road widening and road street lighting installation in the rural area, including the drainage system also. Most of the affected areas are in the rural area and is affecting the residents in the long houses, kampong or villages. I have been ever seen myself the overly narrow access road in the rural area where two cars cannot pass through at the same time. Worsen is when they make halfway, forcing either one of the car need to be reversed. At that time, I have been seeing the two cars are arguing and fighting among themselves because nobody like to reverse because both of them are already halfway. So this issue, I have a check with them. They say not only by today, it's already years issue. Always they have been highlighted to the rural SRDC, means Cebu Rural District Council. They say they have no money to improve. By right, the Ministry of Public Health, Housing and the local government should look at the rural council, the funding they need, because if they only depend on the rural council assessment collected from the rural people, definitely it will be far below budget. They needed to upgrade the basic infrastructure needed in the rural area. And I would like to suggest, if possible, in next year, the budget 2025 or even this year 2024, additional budget, the ministry can appeal to Yang Amat Brahma Premier. Also, he is the Minister of Finance to consider certain budget to be channeled to the rural district council or even the municipal council responsible on the road, upgrading and resurfacing or upgrade the also undersized drainage system in the town area. Because the municipal council also have highlighted they don't have enough budget, like Cebu Municipal Council. So that is very important, because whenever this basic infrastructure, at least we must prove or to show to the people on the ground we have some action or improvement been done. If not, they will never certify, because when there is flooded, even we give them 10,000 assistance to be granted to the household, nobody will appreciate us, because they losses much more than us. Especially after flood, they need to do the cleaning of the house. So I would like the ministry here, possible, to give a direction on the proposal and also the funding to the local rural council, if possible, municipal council also. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, I would like to highlight this utility service in Cebu, especially also in Tudong area. Grassroots concern about the unfortunate situation where there is a significant populated area like Cebu Jaya. There have been over years and years they're facing the water low pressure. They're not being able to supply the water pressure during the peak season, especially whenever everybody had gone home. They have using the water. Even in the terrace house, they're receiving the low water pressure in Cebu Jaya area, including even daytime. The short lock have been highlighted. They go out to the second floor, even sometimes first floor. Also, they cannot receive the water supply. So I would like to appeal to the Minister of Utility Services, if possible, please look at the redesign the whole water supply system for whole Cebu, including the Cebu Jaya side, which I have few times meeting with the water board, and then they have been showing me the system. I know I may not have the full knowledge, but according to my experience, the design, for me, I look at it, maybe during the olden day, there is a lot of shortcoming. Even some of the officers have admitted to me, but according to them, the proposal have been proposed, but during that time, I don't know what reason, they don't take into consideration. Because if the issue doesn't resolve, the grassroots already coming out with a voice. He said that we are in the low income, kerajaan cuma hanya pilih kasih saja. Orang kaya punya tempat, semua kita jaga, tapi orang miskin punya kawasan, kita tidak ambil tahu. So, I would like to appeal this thing, we should not let it prolong. We must come up with some direction on that. Of course, here I would like to take the opportunity to thank our Minister of Utility, Yang Berhormat Julaihi. In the last year, he has been helped to improve Cebu Jaya water supply, but unfortunately, there is still shortcoming. Even on the flag, every evening they need to carry the water from ground floor to the fourth floor, the highest, to get the children for showering, the cooking, all this we don't mention. Even showering, they need to carry how many barrels of the water. That's why very frustration. Even some of them, they need to force themselves. They need to save a lot of money for them to install the electric pump from ground floor pump to the top floor, and the additional electricity cost. That is why there is unhappiness is there. Another area I would like to highlight, the water supply, such as in Jalan KJD, Asang, Nonggang, Batu Wong, have been deprived of the water supply due to Pemponio highway project is still in progress. When checked with the agency, they always reply that we can't do much because of Pemponio project still in progress and the excuses. The grassroots say why this thing can be happen. Earlier, the federal government had assured to all the grassroots during the Pemponio construction, all the utility service will be temporarily relocated. It will not affect the people needs. But unfortunately today, this area have facing also on this water supply. When the day will start constructing the Pemponio until today, they don't have the supply. Why I have been highlighted this area is very urgent, because most of the people are surrounded with the plantation. They had a ponding, they had a stream, all water are polluted because there is chemical or fertilizer, and some of them had told me sometimes that they had no choice. They don't have the water, they go to shower then immediately tomorrow morning they need to go and see a doctor, because everywhere is very, orang kata banyak kata, very itchy. They can't even sleep at the night. So I really to appeal to the Minister of Utility, please look into this area. I have been highlighted, must put firm on our decision what we want the contractor to be need to be done, or who in charge responsible for relocation of these utility services must carry out. Because I just shared a little bit, because previously my Bintulu area also having this problem. We had a meeting, kept all the agencies together, including during the time our resident had chaired a meeting. We put a very firm decision, give them a deadline, they must do it. Towards the end of the day, they do it. That's why the problem has been resolved. Here, last on the issue of the rural utility service, including water and electricity, especially electricity. They had the overhead line. Some, they had a pillar, but they don't have the cable. Left side had electricity, right side they don't have the electricity supply. I don't know what is the technical problem. Maybe here we resolve this to finding the way to survey the whole area, not only say the Bintulu or Tudong area. Maybe we can survey the whole Sarawak. We go in to divide into the zone, one by one the zone, to complete the utility shortcoming. Then only we can, the people say, then we only can announce that 2025 there will be 100% utility service being completed. Yang amat berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, lastly I would like to thank for you to giving me the opportunity to participate in debate, budget debate 2024. At the same time, I would like to congratulate Yang Amat Berhormat Primi also. He has been so aggressive and proactive to have the budget 2024, which have benefit a lot to our Sarawak state development and also the people need. Thank you very much.
Yang Berhormat, we have a short break. Sitting resumes at 11:50.